Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by a moist boy. His name is Moist Mikey. Hello, Mikey.
That's like the worst porn name ever.
Moist Mikey. Yeah, it's not the best.
Moist Mikey. Coming
Is it
to
a-
the stage, Moist Mikey.
Yeah, I was going to say it's less of a porn name and more of a stripper name. Maybe you'd be one of those guys that rides on the mechanical bulls while like ladies squirt like grease at you or body lotion. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Ladies, let us know. Is a thing a man riding a mechanical bull while the ladies in the audience shoot body lotion at them? I don't know. Mikey might know.
I'm worried about you today.
That's fine. I'm glad that someone worries. How's it going though, Mr. Mikey? Is it going good on this moist day, warm day?
I'm alright. I wish the sky orb would fuck off, but I'm alright.
Yeah. One day, I say this ironically because it'll never happen. One day they will install air conditioning in our houses for this country. Granted, it's not for a massive time of year, but ooh, I'd like it when they do. Let me tell you that. We're here today to talk about Transformers. There's not a huge amount, as is the nature of the beast at the moment with all the conventions cancelled and whatnot. But we may as well get it kicked off, get the ball rolling, push the donut down the hill, as we'll kick off with Perfect Effect DX11 Honor Warrior and DX11B Dark Warrior. I would have called it Dishonorable Warrior myself.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah. So what is this? Well, this is a re-release of the 10th anniversary. Will be the re-release of their 10th anniversary.
No, it's their 10th anniversary, so they're doing a re-release.
Their re-release. Yes.
You have the reading skills of a badger.
In my mind, it made sense. But yeah, this is the... Who is this? The jet-powered Revive Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
they
special re-release of it. So
Yeah.
this came out... I couldn't have... It's not 10 years old, this figure, is it?
No, it's a cup. No, Perfect Effect has been going for 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was
Yeah.
like, this can't be like a... Okay.
This is just
Like,
their Optimus that they did a while ago to combine with a Jetfire.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, this can't be a 10-year-old figure. Jesus, that'd be mad. That'd be crazy. It could happen, but that'd be crazy.
Like I said, this is one of those days where I'm sitting there going like, what was in his water?
Nothing. It was all dust.
And stop drinking the dust.
No, it's too prevalent. Gotta drink. So obviously the Dark Warrior is the Nemesis version because, well, you know, of course it is. We get some images of the Primes, both of them, in his robot mode, in his vehicle mode, with his weapons. His weapons include a power axe, a gun, and a big sword. What's the sword? The sword seems familiar. That looks like Grimlock's sword from Fall of Cybertron? Is that what it's meant to be?
It was from the Leonidas they did, the Lio convoy.
Oh, okie dokie. Oh, there you go. So, Mikey, what do you think of this stylized Optimus Prime? I'm sure you're as excited as I am to see yet one more Optimus Prime.
Yeah, but I like this when it was originally announced back in the day when I remember it.
10 years ago. Mikey's soul is dying.
I like the sword. They look good. I'm not exactly leaping for joy that someone's doing an Optimus and a Nemesis again, but hey, at least it's not a feckin' masterpiece. And like, if they're not going to do a full release for 10th anniversary, it is nice that they're doing something. It's also slightly terrifying. Perfect Effect has been around for 10 years.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Oof. Yeah. We're old, Mikey.
Like third party has been a thing for at least a decade, if not more now.
I think it's probably more than that, to be honest, because Fans Project was out I'd say at least a year before them. The City Commander. I'm certain they were out a year before that. I'm guessing you're not going to be picking either of these boys up?
I mean, are you going to be?
No, not at all. The designs are interesting enough, but because they are different, but it's just like this is another Optimus Prime, the G1 style. Hey, it turns into a truck. Seen that a lot. Even if they mix up the design a bit, it's still like, hey, it's this guy again. You go, okay.
Next up,
Fair
Optimus Prime turns into a pineapple.
And as people may or may not remember, I'm not the biggest Optimus Prime fan anyway, so it's just like okay. If you are interested, though, it's due for release in June, so next month, maybe.
In theory.
But
you could probably order it then, and you'll probably get it in 3 months' time.
Yeah, just because of how things are going, I'm sure anyone who puts up dates, it should be more like, this is the tenuous date. At least that's what I would say when putting stuff like this up. Mikey, take us on to next bit of news.
Yeah, 3-0 have revealed the first images of their premium scale Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime action figure. This is a highly articulated, highly accurate, non-transformable, die-cast metal, 19 inches tall, 140 points of articulation Optimus Prime from the movie Bumblebee, where he was starring as Optimus Prime.
Please breathe.
I live. So yeah, this is their version of the design from the Bumblebee movie. The one that looked like Optimus Prime.
I don't understand.
Well, you see, before he looked like a murderer.
Yes.
And now he looked like another person.
Are you saying he got like reconstructive surgery to avoid the authorities?
Well, Face Off, whole of a different movie.
Oh, wow, that could be fun.
But yeah, so nothing else really revealed. No dates, no prices, no nothing. But we do have an image of it, and it looks like he's going to have LEDs in his eyes. And yeah, he looks highly, highly detailed, but it is 3-0, and at this stage, that's not a shock.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, pretty. Like you say, highly detailed and whatnot. I wonder, do you think he'll have lights in his eyes? It looks like he probably does. I wouldn't say that's out of the realms of possibility either. I wonder how much pistons and jointage kind of extra movement's going to be in there, because I can't remember offhand. Did the 3A go that way? They do, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Like with piston joints and whatnot.
They go for a lot of like movement and stuff like that.
They also, with their figures, press you up against the door. As Mr. Jobby found out when he did his video on Pat Labor.
Yeah, I know what the intent from that scene was, but it sure looked like he was going for something else.
It sure looked like a scene from a Jobby video, is how I would describe it. Tell me I'm wrong.
That cold die-cast pressed against your buttocks. That man has too much talent.
Yeah, he's a fun boy. He's a fun lad. So I guess. Well, how many have they done from the Bumblebee movie? I can't remember. They've obviously done Bumblebee,
Blitzwing, and Prime. They haven't done Shatter or Dropkick.
Okay, is that the next logical step to do them, or is the next logical step to do like Starscream? I
could see them doing sound. I think someone announced a Soundwave. Could have been
yeah.
Them, but like I'm see, that's the thing. I as someone who's seen a movie, I'd much rather have Shatter and Dropkick.
Yeah, but you know what Shatter and Dropkick weren't in, Mikey?
Soundwave and Starscream?
Well, technically that's true. They weren't inside of them, but I was going to say...
Shatter might have been. She seems like the type.
I was obviously going to say G1, and thus no one cares about them.
I've got a very interesting image of Shatter in my head right now that won't leave. If I had art talents, I'd be on Pixiv. But... Yeah. Like I could see Ravage getting one before them, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a shame, but it's also weird just because of I don't know the prevalence of them in the movie, something like that. I don't know.
But but hey, they've already got that secret mold.
It's true. Yeah, they just need a few tweaks to it, so they'll probably pump them out. I'm sure, as is the way of things.
Yep.
Shall we move us on, Mikey?
Please do.
Action Toys UM-03 Ultimetal. Do you remember Ultimetal, Mikey?
I do. They made a Mazinger.
Yeah, did they? Oh, no, they did. That's right. Yeah, so this will be their third release. They did Ultra Magnus. Who was the other one? Because that's the only one I remember.
Prime.
Oh, of course, yeah. So Prime, and now they're doing Megatron as well. So... the new images show the impressive non-transforming G1 Megatron action figure reveals several finishing differences from the last image we reported. I'll take their word for it.
Yeah,
which was,
I don't
wow,
remember.
holy
Like, for me, this is a reveal. I didn't know that was reported before.
Mikey, it was revealed in the last time they reported was 2019 in February.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what this because I
maybe
thought
speed up.
I had a feeling that we had talked about this, but I was like, it doesn't seem familiar. This is why it's been over a year. Holy poop. So the ultimetal Megatron features highly detailed G1 sculpt, lots of die-cast biddly bobs, high level of posability, more than 30 bots of articulation, I'll have you know. And several removable panels that let you see his inside wobbly bits. And you should give him a blush face as well with it. So you take off his bits and you put on the blush
Well,
face. And it's like Yamete.
He is a Japanese figure, so.
Yamete Optimus Kun. Sorry, so Shaker. Shaker.
It needs to be like constantly looking away, calling him Baka.
As he's like holding his chest panel as it's like sliding off.
Yeah, yes, because it does in this case. But yes, also you need one where he's pulling down the finger with his eye, pulling down the eye.
Oh, yeah. The bleh. Right, so other features, it includes a remote control light up and sound gimmicks. Well, that's kind of interesting. So you can, if you, depending on the range of said remote control, you could potentially sit in bed and like have your Megatron scream at you from across the room in the middle of the night. That could be fun. Yeah, I mean, it's not an amazing feature to have it with the remote control, but it makes it less like you have to get in and touch it. You can just do it from far away. So that's kind of nice. The figure stands 17 inches tall. Other numbers if you want centimeters, I'm not going to bother. It's tall and expected to be released in the second quarter of 2021. Jesus. Holy poop. That's a long, like, he's a first reveal to he's coming out.
And
Fair
read
enough.
the next sentence after that, it gets worse.
I don't want to read the next sentence. I don't even want to read the next 3 words.
But they first reported on this in 2014.
No. Oh, no. They did. Oh, no. Oh, see, I thought you meant the price.
No,
I didn't realize there was that bit.
That's notable as well, but...
Yes, the notable price for said piece is going to be $642.33 American cents, approximately.
Yeah. Unless you buy from Big Bad Toy Store.
There you go.
Want to know why?
We are not sponsored. Why?
Yeah. Because if you buy from Big Bad Toy Store, it will cost you almost $900.
Whoa!
$879.99.
No, it's not that good.
Buy from Japan. Even the shipping will cost you less than that.
Yeah, no, like I'm trying, like the flame toys. The flame toy. Just go for flame toys.
Yeah, you could get 3.
Yeah, and they're big chunky boys as well.
Yeah.
Are they 17 inches? They must be 17 inches.
Well,
tall.
they're big.
Some of
they're
those
big.
ones.
They're big fellas. But
yeah.
I mean, you could get Star Saber, and you could get Tarn, and you could get the
Optimus
Megatron that's
Prime.
coming up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, if you want one of these, cool beans, but it seems a wee bit on the pricey side, at least by my eyes.
I mean, I've seen these before, and they are very, like, it's a hyper like prestige line. Because the thing that's notable, they usually only do the most classic of giant robots.
Yeah.
So like Tetsujin, Mazinger, stuff like that.
Oh, but you know what the bad thing is? The image I see of Tetsujin here, it's not the fat Tetsujin.
No, it's skinny Tetsujin.
That's not this Tetsujin I care about.
Yeah, but like the fact Optimus and Megatron are in this is actually kind of a big deal. But on the other hand, oh no.
No, not for 600.
No, I could pay rent with that at a good place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like the gimmick of strip him down, and I'm sure if you strip him down far enough, you'll probably get like something that is basically the wire image from the Transformers the movie.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, I haven't compared, but I would put money down if you actually check the details. They match up.
Probably, yeah.
and the remote thing is kind of neat, but yeah, it's a bit rich for my blood.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember when I can't remember what the company was? They were doing the incredibly highly detailed movie statues.
Oh yeah, I don't remember who did them.
No, I don't either, but I remember those were really expensive. They were around a similar price point, if not a bit more.
Mm.
And I think they looked better, and I don't like the designs for the movie figures, but I appreciated the work that went into them.
Yeah.
This doesn't, at least to me, feel as intensive. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. I don't know. Maybe it's the style of the figure that isn't gelling with me either. I'm not sure. I just look at it and I go, you know, eh. So I got nothing else there, Mikey, unless you've got to butter that bread in some way.
So yeah, Transformers Earth Wars Seek and Destroy got an interview. I didn't realize they were doing interviews. It says another interview. But so Space Ape Games, who of course do the online games for Transformers, that are on the old mobile phones, got an interview with Tyler Blezinski, who I believe is taking part in their Search and Destroy event as a writer. I think. Don't quote me on that. So just a few interesting details here. So he opened up and said that he started with Vox Media as a sports blogging company that morphed into something else. He left the company in 2015 and wanted to get involved in the Transformers franchise. Also, everyone else here is like photographed in front of a green screen, and you just cut to him. It's just like, this is my shelf of expensive toys. So he basically started banging on IDW's door. I like the idea he was doing that literally. Stalked them at conventions. Annoyed them basically until they said he could write something. He'd been wanting to do a Constructicon story for his entire life, so he hated Robo Smasher. So he wanted to tell a proper story, and he got lucky. What's your best advice for anyone who wants to write comics? You need to put yourself out there. The artist that wound up working on my comic is Livio Ramondelli, who completed a commission for my son a long time ago. Yeah, for his son. And that's how I met him at WonderCon. I got him on board with the idea of Constructicon Rising. If you get an artist on board with your idea and you get them passionate about it, that helps a lot too. So I've got to throw. So if I want to write a story, I basically just got to throw bricks at Nick.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So, I mean, I'd say throw bricks at Alex, but he'll throw them back.
Yeah. With gusto.
with too much gusto, which is like, they were a gentle lob, sir. What was it like when you first saw your comic printed? Amazing. I got very emotional. The planet Constructicons are trapped on Mayalex is a combination of my two kids' names, Maya and Alex, a planet that they consider hell, so that probably says something about parenting. In issue 4 of your Eagle Eye, there's an homage to Transformers Earth Wars in there, which he had Livio put in one I225U in one of the panels, which is something they say in Scorched, which I'm assuming is one of the events. Oh, it's an alliance. He's on the alliance for Transformers Earth Wars, and that's something they say. Okay, so he's a nerd gamer as well as everything else.
Fair enough.
So does he have any other stories planned? And yes, he has been talking to his editor at IDW because he would love to do a follow-up story about how they went from, learning how to recombine to join into Decepticons properly. So this is obviously like a cut down from a big stream that was there to advertise the game. So if you want to see the whole thing, you can watch it online. But yeah, I'm still kind of trying to get my head around the fact that a guy came in from I just love the idea of I'm starting a sports blogging company. We're all talking about sports, and he's just sitting there in the back like sports, and I plug this tab in here, blah 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 blah, blah sports. It's not something I am a fan of the nerd stereotype that nerds don't get into sports, which I know isn't true, but I didn't. So I like to imagine this is just like he's secretly been working to undermine sports from the inside,
Oh my god.
Any thoughts on this one, Andy?
Not particularly. Kind of interesting, but yeah, not a huge amount. There was another story, comic related wise, that you had for us as well.
Yeah, this is pretty quick. Good old John Barber, man of 1,000 ideas, did a stream during the week and revealed that there is a new comic coming. He didn't give a date or anything, but it is a Beast Wars comic. So we don't know details of the writer or the artist, but it's been announced, and it's once everything with Comic World gets back to normal, we're going to hear about it.
Mm.
Comics have just started releasing again in the last week. Marvel, DC, and Boom, I know, released some stuff. I don't know if IDW did. But like Power Rangers is back going out again. So I'd expect, I believe it was Brian on Twitter announced that the main series is coming back in the next month or so. So yeah, things are getting somewhat back to normal in some areas of the world.
Yeah.
Not mine.
No.
I'm still here. But still can't go to the shops. But yeah. Andy, take us on.
Right, let me tell you, Mr. Mikey,
No.
about some new art. Well, hey.
I said let you and I won't.
Oh, well, that's it then. We have some new G1 box art, or at least I would say styled G1 box art from the original man himself, Mark Watts. He's doing he's done a new design. The piece features G1 Devastator fighting his nemesis, Omega Supreme, in space with suns and meteors and lots of, space stuff in the background. So if you enjoyed the artwork from back on the old toy stuff, this looks exactly how you would imagine that stuff to look. It fits in, I think, quite well with the rest of the stuff. It's also quite nice to see the process of him going from concept art to then putting it on the board and spraying the backgrounds and going through the actual art process. It's I don't know about you, but I thought that was quite interesting just to see in general.
Yeah. It looks incredibly complicated.
Yeah, it's this ain't no computer Photoshop work. This is
he has a
stencils and airbrush. I think he has an airbrush at one point.
Yeah,
lots of stuff. This kind of artwork I really appreciate. Not to say that digital artists aren't good, but there's something to be said about seeing someone just with the tools in front of them without like anything computerized doing something art wise. That's it. Almost feels like a lost art in some ways because digital art is so much more prevalent these days. So I really liked seeing this myself. Any thoughts on this, Mr. Mikey?
I think this is neat. We spoke to Mark back in the day when he was doing his table art, which I believe is still going. So he's an interesting guy, and yeah, I think this is really good. It's so weird to see such a retro style of art and know it it looks like it was done in the 80s, but it is brand new.
Yeah,
That's
you could see that you could, like, if someone came out yesterday or a few days before the story came out and said, "Oh, we found some unreleased concept artwork for a box set," you'd go, "Yeah, okay, I could believe that. It looks exactly like it would."
But yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And I like it says here he's doing commissions as well. So MarkWattsStudios.com.
Yeah.
And talk to him. I suspect if you're going for something like this with this kind of work. It's probably not going to be cheap, but
no.
if you're into this style, I think this is a great purchase.
Yeah, it's a unique piece. Could be quite fun, I suppose. Yeah, that's all we have there. Do you want me to take the last story, Mr. Mikey, as well?
You might as well.
TFNation announces 2 more, I guess, for the live stream that they're going to be doing in place of TFNation. So they've got Buzz Dixon and May Cat coming to their online streaming thingamadoo. May has the best image out of everyone I've seen so far. And I'm disappointed I didn't see that photo, otherwise I would have used it for the interview image.
Yes. No, neither did I. I asked her, where are you getting these?
Mm-hmm.
There's too
what do you
many...
mean? Hang on. What do you mean, where are you getting these? She has the phone and it's her face.
Yeah, but who says this is a photo I need of myself?
People with skills. People with taste.
The only skill she has is knives. She has a lot of. She has too many knife skills, Andy. It's very concerning.
Now I'm imagining me photoshopping an image, her wearing this hat, her holding a knife, and her in her other hand holding your skinned face.
Well, if we do that G.I. Joe show, that can go down for that. And she's just screaming Cobra.
Perfect. As it should be.
But then again, I've never met anyone who actually owns a Davy Crockett hat, which is
I had one when I went to Disney World, because that's something you just did when you went to the Frontier place. But yeah, I don't know many people who like venture out into the world with a Davy Crockett hat.
I hope
Did you
she
ever
does,
wish
'cause
that
she lives in
the...
California? She lives in California, so she'll
Well,
actually die in the heat.
That'd be warm. That'd be very warm. Did you ever think as a kid like the raccoon hat like would grow a head at one point? Because I always did when I saw that. I was like, is it gonna get a little
like
head?
watching Looney Tunes and stuff, and I always assumed it, because in Looney Tunes or something, it was always like it's a fox curled up. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So when I was really small, I assumed it was just an animal that was asleep.
Disappointing.
We learned a darker thing, but I was looking as well at the episode Buzz Dixon has written, because he's primarily G.I. Joe. He hasn't actually done that much Transformer stuff, but he did Prime Target, which introduced Lord Chumley.
Oh yeah.
And he is literally responsible for the line "Amazing, a booby trap that actually catches boobies."
Oh yeah, fun.
He wrote the God Gambit, which is the one where Astrotrain pretends to be God. And is that the one where Cosmos has a girlfriend?
He probably I don't think he doesn't full sea spray her, but I think he's like there's a lady who's like,
yeah.
Wouldn't mind some of your metal mass in me, and Cosmos is like, I'm going to go into space and be alone now.
Yeah, slightly more worrying. Do you want to know what the other episode he wrote was?
Sure.
Carnage in C minor.
Well, it's not his fault. The animation was terrible.
No, but it is his fault. The writing was bad.
No, that's not untrue. Yes,
because that had episode more than just animation problems.
It had issues across the board. Even the voice acting.
Oh,
Allegra.
Soundwave was like, I am so happy right now.
This is my time to shine in season 3. Oh, it's in C minor. Oh, bummer. Do we have any other news, Mr. Mikey?
That is about it, really.
That's all the sausage and beans, as nobody says. Right, then, Mikey, what have you been up to this week? What have you done for fun, my chum?
Lost bodily fluids.
Hey, well, I don't know whether that's good or bad.
Yes, it's been a warm and work-heavy week, so I've probably got a 10, which goes against my very soul. But it's been hot. But I have managed to get some stuff done. I was playing Far Cry Primal.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that last week, and you were kind of iffy on it.
I've stopped playing Far Cry Primal.
I guess because you continued to be iffy on it.
And I watched the ending on YouTube. The ending.
So what pulled you out?
Lots of things.
What was the final nail, would you say? Because you, like I say, last week you were iffy. What was the thing that made you go, nah, done, over?
I think it was when I realized that, okay, I'm within. Looks like I've got one, because there's multiple final bosses. I'm within the first of the final bosses. I think we're just going to go and kill mammoths for an hour.
Oh no! Did the story not drive you forward?
The story's bad. The story, like, I was reading like reviews of Far Cry. Like, I'm not a fan of how Far Cry tells stories, but the reviews are bad of the story itself. Even people that like the game don't like the story, and I can tell you, the story is really badly laid out.
Right.
Really unengaging. The characters are mostly very, very flat, or at best one note. There's loads of moments in the story where it feels like they cut out something. Like there's a bit where someone like, oh no, where's this person? Oh, they're being taken to be executed. You brought them here. Blah, I hate you. And like, okay, you go. You save someone who's your village is about to kill, and you say like, I protect them. And then you go to the person who said literally a minute and a half ago that they hated you with every fiber of their being, and you talk to them in the village, and they're like, Taka, you're doing well, I see. Just like, I feel like you should be more put out with me right now. There are big jumps in logic, very bad, like, the character backstories and stuff don't matter. They're there, but they do not matter. Yeah, then there's the actual gameplay. This isn't just based on Far Cry 4, this is reskinned to the extreme. Like, the map is actually a remodeled version of the Far Cry 4 map. Like, this game screams to me money saving.
So would you say it's like almost a mod?
almost in some ways, which is real problem when you have a gunplay based game, right?
Sure,
And
yeah.
you take out the guns and you make most combat like there is long range combat, but most of your person to person combat is melee. And you have added no melee controls. There's no so you're a caveman
Yeah.
who is riding a saber-toothed tiger
Yeah, sounds good.
who can't dodge.
What do you mean?
So you know when someone takes a swing at you,
Yes.
you might lean to the right or left so they don't hit you?
Yes.
You can't do that.
Can you at least block?
No, you cannot.
You can't block.
So your approach to combat, long-ranged or otherwise, is run in screaming and swing like it's nobody's business in the hopes that they go down first.
Okay, yeah.
Or what basically ended up, like, oh, there's these camps where, like, there's 20 enemies in here. You need to use stealth. The stealth in this game is crap. Alright. I'll send in the animal. They take out, like, 6 people. Oh, the animal's dead. Okay, I'm going to go get a mammoth. And by the way, the mammoths are just reskinned elephants from Far Cry 4.
Ah.
And then you ride the mammoth in and smash everything. And if something survives, by the time the mammoth's done, you won't have to worry too much, and you can just run up screaming and swinging your club. Or throwing a spear. There's also, like, there's these levels like, oh, you're having a spirit journey where you are a mammoth. Oh, except your camera is in the exact same position as if you were riding a mammoth. You just can't see hands. Which means, like, it looks really weird because clearly they didn't mod any of the controls or anything.
Right.
Or the camera angles or anything. So it's just like you were playing a normal level. This game should have been third person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've never heard of a game with a melee combat system that can't do melee.
No. It sounds like the melee system from a FPS from, like, the early days, like, you know, Duke Nukem or stuff like that.
You know, you're running around. It's a gun game, and you're near someone. You press R3 or the middle button or whatever, and there's a quick stab or there's a shove.
Yeah.
What if you made that the entire melee, but you just that's it? I also got really dissatisfied with the animals. Because basically, so like I said, within 3 hours, I tamed a saber-tooth. In a game where that's sort of your end game.
Right.
I just went to the area where they were, and I said, let's see if I can tame one now. And taming so easy, yes, I could. In which case, none of the other 18 animals you can tame matter. Not even the ones that are slightly stronger. Because
why don't they matter?
Because you can ride a saber-tooth.
Right.
And it's the fastest thing in the game.
Oh, but you can't ride the other creatures.
No, you can ride a regular bear, but it's much slower. You can't ride a cave bear.
Okay.
Apparently because it's too big. But you can ride a mammoth.
I was gonna say, but you can ride a mammoth.
Yeah. The saber-tooth is very strong. There's even an upgraded version of the saber-tooth.
Well, with guns.
So basically, combat. If you have also nothing in the game except mammoths will attack you. Except mammoths and a couple of herbivores like rhinos will attack you if you have a saber-tooth with you.
Oh, right. So it's like a go away from me.
Yeah, because there's an animation where if like a wolf or a bear or a lion shows up, it will turn around and start snarling or swiping at them. Right. Which is neat. It's cool. Like the same thing happens with the badger, except the badger scares everything. Nothing will come near you if you have a badger.
Wise.
Yeah. But the game. So. And all these animals have like, ooh, this one has extra stealth. This one can pick up extra resources. None of them are actually valuable abilities.
Oh.
Like, the only thing with a valuable ability is the saber-tooth, in that you can ride it and it's fast, which means you can traverse the map quickly.
Okay.
And it works as as a very good second attacker. Like, I was thinking about it, like, all the promotional material of this game was like guy riding a saber-tooth. Why in God's name didn't you just have that be the only tameable and have it story relevant? Like, why not have it in the story that he kills a mother saber-tooth and on a whim keeps one of the cubs? And that way, because there's lots of cutscenes where you have an animal and it's like, oh, it would really make sense for it to jump in right now and like pull someone off me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you could have had a story element where your saber-tooth has relevance to the story, and it's the only one. Because you could other game mechanics, you can upgrade it, give it extra abilities, give it extra health, something like that, instead of what's ultimately a really weak attempt. Like, it's the kind of thing you see in games where you don't have this permanent tame thing.
Right.
Also, it can't come into your village.
Did they give a reason, or is it just because it's
No.
a saber-toothed tiger and people are like, no, go
No,
away?
No. I mean, like, if you enter the village, your pet will disappear.
Oh, any of them?
Any of them. Like, I was thinking, like, there's another thing you could do. As you get more of them, yeah, I'm not using you anymore, but I can interact with you in the village, and it's just a nice ambience thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's my tame bear, and here's like 5 cave children playing on its back or something. I don't know.
Being eaten by it.
Yeah. Or here's the badger, and it's chasing everything else away. Like, little animations like that. But, like, then there's the fact that none of the side missions are remotely engaging.
Oh.
Like, once you've done them 40 times, it's the same fucking thing.
Oh, no.
Like, there's no variety in this game, and the combat, and again, if it had decent combat, maybe it would get away with it, but it doesn't. I don't think it's a terrible game, but it's very, very dissatisfying. I'm not angry like I was at Horizon Zero Dawn, which was, what good gameplay, what terrible story design.
Yeah.
But this is just like, this feels to me like, we had this idea, we couldn't get a budget, we'll just take this game we already have, change a few things, and release it. There, it's fine.
Well, I think the idea behind it was probably something like, did you ever play Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon?
Yeah, well, that's...
I think it was that, but maybe a more ambitious version, because Blood Dragon only lasted like a few hours or something.
Yeah, Blood Dragon was pretty typical DLC.
Yeah, it was great. It
yeah.
could be played without the main game either.
But it didn't need... Because Blood Dragon is basically just wacky nonsense playing up this like 80s video game thing, and that's how it kept going. But if it had been a full game, that would have been troublesome.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Like, Far Cry Primal doesn't have that. It has a novelty that wears off fast. Very fast. So I haven't deleted it yet because I've just not been gaming the last few days, but when I turn on my PlayStation again, I will be deleting it permanently. Well,
if you've watched the end, then yeah, there's literally no
And the
point.
ending was bad. So yeah, please hire new writers. Because here's the thing, I love a really good game like this.
You mean a one set in caveman times, you mean?
Yeah, I think that, like, I was just thinking, just do Primal. Just do a survival game where there's a decent silent narrative. You don't need them talking. You can use, like, cutscenes to do emotion. As a guy, he's got to pet something, a saber-tooth or a dinosaur or whatever, and just go with that. There's a really good survival game in there. But not all this tribal nonsense.
Tribal nonsense?
Tribal nonsense.
My
nonsense.
God.
People might get that, they won't. But yeah, so I also watched up to episode 14 of Gundam Seed.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I got through a lot today, actually.
Yeah, you hammered through like nearly 10 episodes today. That's not bad.
Yeah. So opinions on Gundam Seed. It has problems.
Yeah.
Animation is getting embarrassing at times.
Which parts?
The fight scenes specifically.
Okay.
That's not good. When I can actually just see you drag the slider across the screen and then have this still image follow it. From what I was reading, apparently Sunrise was brand new to this animation technique and therefore were terrible at it. So the fights, because the fights are largely just dodging and shooting, which is never engaging as a fight scene unless it's a proper dogfight. And then they get the physical fights are pretty dire. And not very, like, they actively avoid getting up close and personal.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm very surprised by that, because I'd seen some clips from Destiny, and, like, I don't know about what the writing is for that show, but there are some good-looking fights going from the clips, but I was real surprised when I was just like, and a lot of stock footage.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this show does not have a budget.
I think it's because it was I think it was the first Gundam show that moved over to, I think, digital animation.
Yeah, well, it would.
So
be,
maybe that was an expensive thing.
But Turn A, like from what I've seen, Turn A looks so much cleaner and better than this.
Yeah, but at that point they were still doing cell animation for Turn A, weren't they?
Yeah, but
so
like,
they might have been more used to it, and this was the new
then,
setup.
This was going on alongside stuff like Vandred, and like even if you don't like the CGI robot and Vandrids, which I didn't, the
Mhm.
human animation was very solid.
Yeah.
And the character designs were good. This has that cheap, made by numbers vibe, which a lot of lower budget animes had at the time. Remember last week I said the designs felt very of their time?
Yes.
That's what I meant. Like the almost complete lack of use of shadows.
Yeah.
Or something. So that's a problem. The character development needs some work. Their cast is either too big or they're not paying enough attention to them. There's a couple of characters they're doing something with, but like I think Kira is getting there in terms of development, but he needs more. There's also too much military strategizing going on, and I know why it's there. It's there for that realism, that sense of realism. But in a show where I feel they're not giving enough time to the characters, they could use that time for the characters. You know? So like my big complaints are like the base story isn't bad. It hasn't gotten really going yet, but it's not bad. I will like the last 2 or 3 episodes have been pretty good, in all honesty. They've passed through Earth's atmosphere. They're just after landing in I think it's Egypt.
Yeah.
But like there was good pacing on that. Some good awe moments. Needed fight scenes were slightly better at times. But yeah, it's got like, as someone who only knows the tropes of Gundam sort of vicariously, it's very, very aware of the fact it's based on a 70s show. And some of the writing, I feel, is lifted too much from the 70s. That said, I do have positives. I do like at least the broad strokes of the characters. Like I said to you today, something I like about Kira and
Atherin,
thank you. I can never say his name. Is that Kira's basic premise is I'm fighting for my friends. Atherin's fighting for a cause. And something I like is that Kira seems more sure of that, because it's a lot more easier to be doing what you're doing in a war and doing it for people that are immediately close to you and justifying it than justifying it when you're doing it for an idea. Like, I will wipe out half an army. Why? Because justice. Whereas I'll wipe out half an army because they're between me and my sister, or something like that, you know? Big difference in motivation. That said, I am slightly wishing they'd stop telling each other that they're friends. We get it. You're friends. Move on.
That'll happen for the rest of the season, I'm pretty sure.
I'm your friend, are you? Bang, bang. I didn't mention her there, but I found the character Lacus. I think there's a good potential there, in all honesty, but she's weird. The Serenity thing is weirding me out. In a show that wants to kind of be like, ooh, these are real people, and just like she's sitting there like, I don't mind that this ship is going to be blown up. I have Arrow. Everything is fine.
There are no good waifus in that show.
She's sitting there just like starting fires, just like, nothing will be wrong. The fire will cleanse. Arrow will cleanse. And also, the singing needs to stop. Singing needs to stop. It's very distracting. I really like the captain, and I really like the lieutenant. I think they're well-developed characters. They don't say their names often enough for me to remember them very well. His name is Moo, because no one has a real name in this.
Oh, and yeah, Mula Flaga, is that right?
Yeah, and her name is Ramirez?
Ramirez.
Like, I've seen her name, it's like Murrere or something like that, and I'm just like,
yeah.
They don't say it often enough for me to remember how to pronounce that. But I like her. I like how she's representing the human side of the military. And I really like putting the ensign in for her to have a lot of conflict. The really strictly more military, hardcore character. And like, it hasn't happened yet, but I feel like there is going to be a blowout there. Which is probably not going to be very sexy. I'm just going to say it now. It's probably less going to be like Foxy boxing and more actual boxing.
It depends what spin-off kind of manga you read, I suppose.
True. But no, I really like her, and I like her interactions with the kids. I don't mind the kids, actually. I like it. I wish they had more character development, but I kind of like the idea of them. Probably like not the bad guys, and they but no matter what the show is telling you, it's very much a good guys bad guys scenario so far anyway. But the bad guys are fairly thin but entertaining. I feel like, because I feel like I've seen something that is going to get me shot for this opinion, but right now I think the character who's most interesting is Flay.
Which one's Flay?
the girl, the girl whose dad died.
Redhead.
Yeah, pink outfit.
Oh yeah, she's a fucking bitch.
But she for me right now is the most engaging because she's had something happen to her. She's got a driving act. She's, she's broken. She's breaking psychologically, and she's clearly revving up to do something horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I find those engaging traits in a character. Like,
I thought you were gonna say in a girl.
Well, I mean, we've all been there.
No, we
met that
haven't,
one.
Mikey.
Yeah, you have it. Remember Nicole? We've all looked at Nicole and said, "Yep, she'll kill us in our sleep."
Yeah.
But like, she's got an arc. She's got somewhere to go. Like,
Mhm.
I have a prediction about where that arc is going to go, which is she's going to get what she wants and go shit. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I think she's fairly engaging as she is, but her, like, I think if I didn't have the captain and her like interactions with people and Laflaga's and some of the minor ones, I'd be a lot more bored with the show than I am. Also, and I rarely say this, voice acting is an issue.
Japanese or English or what?
Japanese.
Okay.
Someone said during the week, I saw this. You can't comment on voice acting in a foreign language because you don't know what it should sound like. And I just responded, I'm watching Gundam Seed at the moment. Believe me, I can comment on voice acting in another language. Because it's not great. I feel, and I recognize a lot of the actors, and I think it's direction. I think they've been given bad direction. But, yeah, it's like, right now, it was a 50-50 show. It's probably a 55-45 show now.
Yeah.
So it is improving. I just really hope it gets its legs under it at some point. Like, if it pulls like a Blade and we hit episode 30 and suddenly it's fucking amazing, that's great. But yeah, right, I think this is honestly, I think this is a very good introductory show if you want to just get an idea of like the tropes of Gundam, because I think it's hitting a lot of them.
That's why I said you may as well just finish it, because it just kind of evens out to be meh. I think,
but it's
from
not
what I
like,
recall.
it ain't terrible. I was reading like either people love it or hate it, but in the Western fandom anyway. But
yeah,
it's like probably the biggest negative I can say is I don't find any of the Gundam designs engaging. The Blitz is probably the best.
That's the black one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Aegis maybe, but also the fact it turns into a claw is bizarre. Why does it?
It's
why
a
does
squid.
What? But it does that all the time. Why? Why does it do that?
You gotta wonder who decided that would be a thing for a mech suit to turn into, and how it would be useful in space.
Someone reading Crossbone. It's like, oh my god, I could do that. And the strike is incredibly boring.
Is that the main Gundam? Is it?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
real bad design.
It's real basic.
Real like, hey, we're going old school. Stop it.
Don't worry, when the freedom comes along eventually, that's a more interesting design. But it's overpowered. It's stupid.
So what? They went from real robot to super robot.
Yes, you'll see.
But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, this is kind of my baptism, because I don't consider the build stuff getting it to know Gundam.
Oh no! That's a fan wank show. That's have you seen the stuff?
Yeah, not even Re-Rise, which it has fan wank but isn't as fan wank, and like that's an isekai show with Gundam in it. Like this is just Gundam.
Yeah.
Also Space Whale.
Yeah, I when you mentioned this, I can remember what you were talking about.
There's a moment like the Zaft Council comes out and they have a skeleton of a space whale with wings. Mm-hmm. And they start talking like time's running out while looking at this. Are space whales the final villain?
No.
Because they're talking like I should be expecting space whales to be the final villain.
I don't think they are.
Because if that's how the show ends, okay. Why do they have wings?
To fly in space?
Why do they have wings?
Mikey, how else would they fly in space?
Why are they whale? It doesn't make sense. They haven't
how
said
else
anything
would they
about
survive
the
in space?
Whale, but I know that most Gundam shows don't have aliens in them, so I did pause a bit and start blinking.
Yes, most of them don't.
I know there's like a movie that does, but
it was terrible.
Yeah.
You're talking about 00, aren't you?
Not a clue. I just know there was a movie with aliens.
Okay. Yeah.
But the last thing, and this is probably the most interesting. I watched ReZero. What was it called? Frozen Bond.
Is that the a side movie? Is that the redo
Yes.
of season 1?
No, this is one of 2 side movies.
Okay.
So the previous one was Memory Snow, which was a fun romp. This is not a romp. This is partially Amelia's backstory.
Oh, so it's worth watching?
Yes, I think it's very good because 3-0, and Memory Snow may not be deep, but it's really worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
But this basically it's giving part of what she was doing before she formed her contract with Puck, and a large part of this story is from Puck's point of view. And you get to see all sides of Puck as a character, like the mischievous side, the sinister side, the very, very, very tall side. And there's no shadows in this, by the way. You see what he looks like. Like, and having come from the first season and the context that form has, I got very nervous when it showed up. I was just like, oh no, nothing good can come of this. Also, I feel like there's hints laid out in this that Puck's story is not going to have a happy ending.
Okay.
I hope it does because I'm very fond of Puck, but I'm fond of everyone in that show. Yeah, but it's like, where did Amelia come from? What happened to the other elves? It doesn't tell you how she met Rosewall. It doesn't tell you how she got into the competition for the royalty. It doesn't give you a lot of her actual origin, but it lays a lot of groundwork for it. Like, at some point, she doesn't really know why Amelia was encased in ice.
So it sounds like that it tries to tell you as much as it can before going into what happens in the light novel, which will be covered in the next season or 2 seasons.
Also, Amelia has fight scenes. She's quite good in them.
Well, she has them in Isekai Quartet as well, so...
Yeah, but, like, you remember, like, she's actually powerful.
Yeah.
It's just her life is pain. Which is a large theme of this. Her life is pain.
Subaru's life is pain. Subaru's life is actual pain.
Repetitive pain.
I'm sure hers is like emotional pain, but his is actual pain.
Yeah, she forgets her pain.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Her pain like goes away because Subaru resets
it. he remembers all of it.
Yeah. She doesn't remember being murdered. He does.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah,
that's a very forgiving man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Puck's really good in it. I think Amelia's very engaging in this. She has some good emotional moments. You find out that people don't like elves and did some nasty things to them at one point.
Yay.
You also you get to see. We don't really see it a lot in the main show how people react to her. Because we did see a bit of it, but by the time you got to the village and stuff like that, it was really about how people will accept her when they come to know her. Whereas this is, she's meeting people, even people she's known for a while, and when they look into her eyes, they have just full-blown panic. But yeah, no, I think it's good. There's an interesting antagonist. Really worth your time in my opinion.
Neat.
And good animation. Very good animation.
Whee.
Got me pumped for season 2, which I believe is
whenever it happens
next month. Because it was supposed to be in April, but it got delayed because of COVID. So I think it's next month.
We'll see.
I think they're starting up again. Like Digimon's back next week.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think they're re-airing the first few episodes, and then they're going to start new material. And I know Pokemon's coming back as well.
Pokemon.
I haven't been watching Pokemon, but I do know it's coming back.
Fair play. Fair play.
So yeah, ReZero, Frozen Bonds, worth seeing.
Come on, Jason, get on it.
Yeah, do it. Play this as you're walking down the road. Do it. Andy, what about you?
I haven't been doing a huge amount. Been building some Necrons and stuff for Warhammer and doing a bit more painting there. Not a huge amount, just bits and bobs. I've been kind of slowed down just because of the heat, and I kind of look at myself and I don't want to paint. It's too hot. Mainly because as well, like I don't want my paints to dry as quickly while I'm painting. Because it's now worse than having to go, no, my paints are all dried out, poop. I got on sale, because there was a big sale on Warhammer games. I got Gladius, which is a Civilization-styled game just set in the Warhammer universe. And I got it with all the DLC and stuff, so I got it for £37 instead of 83. So I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, that's fine, I'll do that. So it comes with like extra races and extra units for those races. I was like, yeah.
Mm.
It's one of those games that, very much like the Civilizations games, is a black hole and absorbs time. Turn-based, and it just sucks all of time into it. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's quite fun, but it's like if you want to lose an entire day, you just play the game, and it's like, oh well, it's nighttime now. It's time for bed. Shit. Okie dokie. I've just been continuing with DS9, to be honest. I've been too warm at night to really want to do any anime watching, and I've also thought, well, there's going to be delays on shows that I want to watch anyway, so I may as well just wait. I didn't even get around to watching the Vilnius show this week, unfortunately.
I did. I forgot to say that. I did.
I haven't seen it yet. Was
not
it
a
good?
Not funny. Not actually that. There was a very funny ending, but not a very funny episode.
Heartfelt?
But very heartfelt.
Yay!
Told from the perspective of and maid.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Also, she knows how dangerous Mary is.
Oh,
There is literally a thing where she describes Mary as having a dangerous plan.
I believe that.
Which is like, what would Mary have done if she wasn't watching all the time?
Well, she was meant to get with Alan.
She's like, there's a moment where they basically there's a pajama party.
Yeah.
And it's like, what kind of boy would you like? Ah, boy.
boy.
None, thank you.
One that likes sweets.
One with breasts, please.
One that likes to farm, I guess, and is a girl, and is you. No, that's nice. We're such good friends.
Take off your clothes. Oh, you friend.
Oh, you want to give me a bath, just like we did back in Japan. Good friends to the end. Bless her stupid brain.
Yeah, but also return of baby Catalina as well.
Oh, nice, cute. I like that.
Good job.
Yeah, because apart from that, it hasn't been much. To be honest, it's just one of those weeks where time flops by quite quickly.
Like a landed fish.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's just the usual myriad of house things that I need to always do and feed people and the usual stuff. We did a podcast as well, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We did a Patreon show, which will go up hopefully on today, which is the 31st. I haven't actually done anything with it, but I'll edit that up and put it up. So it'll be up for this month's, and then obviously we'll have to do one for next month. So we'll be all caught up to date. Yep. We'll be fine. Comics, not so much, but that's because comics have had problems. So what can you do? Get off our ass. No one's on our ass. It's fine. Let me quickly check the Facebook, because I know that Christoph has sent us some messages about more of the Godzilla cards. So Mikey, you're interested in Godzilla. Have you seen these cards?
I did see them. They do look fun.
Yeah. Again, do any of them take you?
Not for like hunting down and buying purposes, but like there's good art in these.
He also seems to have picked up some sort of Jurassic Park 1 Dilophosaurus model kit.
Yeah, I saw that.
That looks very old and very Western, and by that I mean unpainted.
Yes, it is, and it is. They came out like mid-90s. But yeah, I was actually looking for dinosaur kits. The dinosaur kits you get are fully unpainted. You need like proper skills kind of painting jobs, and they're very, very, very simple builds.
They're like your stereotypical models, like what you would expect, like people who build World War II planes to get right.
Exactly the kind of thing. There was a hobby shop in Portsmouth I used to drop in when I was bored. I never bought anything, I just dropped in. And like in the corner it would always have a couple of dinosaur kits. And they were all like, here you get a couple of legs, a body, and an arm. Stick them together, put in some glue, paint it. And it's just like, I'm not that good at painting on any level. And it's missing all the things I find fun about model kits. Like, the build's not complicated. There's no articulation. I don't think there's a lot of character in the poses they choose for them.
Right. Is it just like stock standard? It's standing.
Standing. Only standing. But yeah, I like that. When I was younger, I really wanted those kits until I realized that they came unpainted.
Right.
But hey ho.
We do have a question, but it's mainly for me, and it's from the previous week. Would you agree? It's again at me. Would you agree that the orcs are the one race in the multiverse who could get away with fucking with DS9's Commander Cisco? These are 40k orcs, by the by.
No.
No, they could. Like,
No.
Unfortunately, if you stack anything up against the 40k universe, 90% of the time they die. There are very, very rare occasions that any other universe is as stupidly strong or as numerous as the stuff in 40k.
Yeah, but he's a god. Like,
That doesn't matter, believe it or not.
No.
You gotta
Cisco.
trust me here, Mikey.
He just punches something like it's Cisco. It's done. Cisco's like One Punch Man. He always wins.
You've got to trust me here, Mikey.
No, I do know. I know just enough to know what you mean, but I'm also turning Cisco into Saitama to deal with it.
I've always thought it would be a funny thing
Saitama.
to see like the 40k ships appear next to the Starfleet ships, because the ships in 40k are like ridiculously like they're. I think they're bigger than most of them are bigger than Star Destroyers, and Star Destroyers hold like 1 million people in them.
Yeah,
and the 40k ones are bigger. It's like these ships are huge and are fitted with hundreds upon thousands of guns. And I think, man, Starfleet would not do well against anything. Just because of how beefy it is. That's a fun thing about 40k. It's just so ridiculous, over the top, and life is so disposable in it. It's crazy. I think that's all of the stuff we had for this week, Mikey. I didn't see anything else. I apologize if I missed out on any questions. I don't think I did. Where can people find you on the internet, Mr. Mikey, if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo, and you can send us a message over on the moonbase2@gmail.com, or you can send it on Twitter or Facebook, or any of the many, many, many ways we have nowadays for contacting us. You could probably send a pigeon, but Andy would eat it.
I would.
What about you, Andy?
You can find me on Twitter, CCTFW, YouTube as Cobra Commander TFW. You can find me on the Moonbase 2 forums, on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, on YouTube for this show, for the Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast. And you can head over to ccbunker.weebly.com if you want. Excuse me, to find all of the extra bits and whatnot. And you can head over to patreon.com/moonbase2 and do $2 each month. You get the extended version of From the File Teletran 2, and you get the Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transformery stuff in more detail. And I think that's all of the bits I needed to cover, Mr. Mikey. I'm thinking about starting up a new Let's Play thingy for the Fluff and Hammer, where I will go over the fairly old game, what's it called? Mark of Chaos, I think. It's a slightly older Warhammer game. So I might give that a try, and if it's fun enough, it might be done into a Let's Play. So we'll see how that goes. But that's it, Mikey. Thank you for joining me for this week's show.
Excellent.
I guess that means we'll catch you next week, everybody, where hopefully it will be cooler and not as warm.
God, make it stop.